Hey there, are you ready for our next riveting experience? Well, buckle up, the fun and excitement is about to begin. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you find my malarkey entertaining, please don't forget to subscribe. So here we are off on a new adventure, and of course it starts with a little bit of quintessential Seattle liquid sunshine. So we're heading out. This is Lake Washington. I'm gonna be trying to catch a bass, which early in the spring like this, it seems to be a real big challenge for me. I struggle mightily to make that happen. But the last trip I was on, I actually did catch a bass, and I was able to record it and submit it for the year-end tournament. So I was hopeful today would be a good day to catch another fish. On the south end of the lake, there's a relatively flat area, and I figured, well, that's a good place to be catching a smallmouth. And here you can see my line got caught on something, and I expertly set the hook. Nope, I just started reeling. And yeah, it appears to be some sort of fish. And of course, you know, I'm completely prepared by having my GoPro on. So while I'm catching a rather large fish, I'm farting around with my GoPro. Well, I got something on here. I don't know what it is. Pretty good sized fish. That I can say for sure. Holy hell. Woo! What are you? Oh my goodness. That is a smallmouth of large scale. Holy shit. Shucks. Woo! Look at that smallmouth. Oh my gosh. That's not something I'm used to catching. All right, let's get you over here. Boy, he hit that thing like a ton of bricks. I'll say. And it ain't coming out of there anytime soon. Blares. I have to retie that. Wow. That, sir, is a nice fish. Okay, let me you just stay there for a second. Okay, let's give some context here. So approximately 2 weeks ago, I caught another fish out here on Lake Washington, slightly different area. And I was able to use the TourneyX app without any issues. I took a picture using the TourneyX app, and it assigned the GPS coordinates. I was able to upload that to the year-long tournament. It was accepted, and everything was hunky-dory. With that context, now let's go back and look at the fish that I'm trying to measure today. Oh, asshole. Come here. Come here, dude. Okay, I'm enlarging my fish graph here so you can see what time it was. It is 9:10, and that's when I took the pictures of that fish. And so then I go on here to submit the fish into the year or the year-long tournament. Um, just looking around, and I'm about to submit the fish. So clearly, I am on the water, and I took a picture of the fish while I was on the water. You could probably check the records on that plane that just flew over my head too. And it would say 9:30. I was where I was. I was on the water when I took a picture of that fish. However, the GPS coordinates that Turniak saved, and I'm assuming it got those by requesting the GPS coordinates from my phone, we're not on the water. In fact, here's where they are. Okay, so the pin that was saved on every single one of my photos is over here in this exact same spot. It's a bike trail, and I don't know why it used those coordinates when I was out here in the middle of the lake somewhere. Obviously, Motorola and my TurniX application can't seem to communicate properly because there's no reason why it should have used those coordinates, because clearly, obviously, I'm out on the water, both for when I took the picture of the fish and when I submitted it. In fact, I submitted I submitted the exact same fish, a different photo from home, and it still showed up in this location over here. So all that data is saved on the photos, and I've gone through and checked all the photos, and they all have the same latitude and longitude data saved to them, and it's this stupid bike path right here. If we scroll down, we can also look at the date and time. So there's the date and time stamp of the photo. It was 9:10, just like you saw on the fish finder. So clearly, it's collecting the GPS data and the time data. Is putting all the correct stamps on the photo. It's just wrong. And so, unfortunately, this is my personal best fish, so it got rejected. And those are the rules. I'm not trying to advocate by showing this photo that maybe they should reconsider. No, the rules are the rules. You've got to have a GPS coordinates that show you on the water. That's the way it is. I'm okay with that. It's just frustrating because it's personal best. But anyway, we agreed we're going to use my camera app on the next go round, which is also supposed to be able to capture GPS data. I've gone through and made sure that the permissions were now set. They weren't, but they are now. They're set to allow the camera app to get GPS data. So all should have been wonderful with the world, but it wasn't, and I'll go through that when I go through the next fish that I caught. So stay tuned. One week later. Well, I wasn't smart enough to turn the GoPro on while I was catching this fish, but I was a little too excited. That's a heck of a fish right there. Huh? Yes. Wow. Okay. Let's get him back in the water while I get all my measuring accoutrement out and working. Okay, you just sit right in there, buddy. Sit right down there. Okay. Okay, so I'm a hard-headed individual, and I'm going to use the TurniX app anyway to take some photos, and I'm going to also use my camera app. That way, something ought to work. And turns out, lucky for me, I am a hard-headed individual, because when I took these photos, the TurniX app actually captured the GPS data and assigned it, and it was correct this time. I don't know if it had to do with the fact that I had turned it on for my camera, or whether it just happenstance, luck of the draw that it got the correct GPS data. But yeah, the camera app, as it turns out, on a Motorola, you actually have to tell it to save the GPS data when it takes the picture. If you don't tell it explicitly to save it, it won't do it. So just giving it permissions to have the ability to get location data doesn't necessarily mean that the camera app will actually save the location data. So you got to do that too. The unfortunate thing is that the pictures I took with the camera, this fish was 16 and a half inches long, and the pictures that I took with the Attorney X app, 16 and a quarter, because he kept jumping around and stuff. So yeah, GPS stuff, what a nightmare. Anyway, so here's the moral of the story. First, make sure that you check your data, your photos, to ensure that they have the GPS data saved to them when you use the app. And that's really, really simple. And I'll do a quick demo of how you can see this stuff. Also, make sure that all of your permissions are turned on. And also, obviously, check your phone to make sure that your camera is set to save the data. Okay, so those are all the things that I learned when working this out. So I ended up with a 15 and a half inch fish and a 16 and a quarter inch fish. Hopefully neither one of those fish will still be in my will still be one of the fish that I haven't called yet. So at the end of the year, that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, just as a quick review of what I've talked about. First thing you need to do is set your app location permissions so that every app that you use, whether that's Attorney X or your camera app or both, make sure that those apps have access to your location data. And that's a permissions. It's usually under security, something like that, depending on the phone. Okay, then set the app to actually save the location data. So just because it has the ability to access the location data doesn't mean it's going to save that. You have to actually tell it to save it. Or at least you do it on my camera. Then shoot a test photo, right? It could be of anything. Use Attorney X and the camera app, shoot a test photo, and then transfer that photo to your PC and check whether or not it has GPS data. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And then you can open it in pictomap.com to confirm the location is actually accurate. So if you do all of those things, those 5 things, then you'll know before you get that personal best fish that you want to enter into a tournament, you'll know that your camera is set up properly and that it will actually save the data so that that fish gets counted. Okay, so let's look at how you take a look at the GPS data. So I know that the Attorney X photos had GPS data, so I want to open that one first. And on a Windows PC, you're going to hit Properties, and then you're going to hit the Details tab. And then if you scroll down on the Details tab, where is it? Yeah, it's after the Advanced section. There's a GPS section, and you have latitude and longitude. So I know that this photo has latitude and longitude data. It's saved in the photo. That's part of the metadata. There's a bunch of other stuff here. You can go through and look at it as well. Date created, date modified, all that stuff. So all that information is there. Okay, so let's look at one that doesn't have, and that would be this one, which I shot with my camera app before I told it I needed to save the location data. And I'm going to hit Properties. We'll look at the details on this one, and we're going to look at advanced photos, and then after that, well, there should be a GPS section right here before File, and it's not there, which means there's no GPS data assigned to this photo. And then from each one of those, you can open those in the Pictomap website, and that will show you whether or not the GPS data is actually accurate on your phone. Okay, well, I hope that helps. If you got anything out of this, please like and subscribe and share with all your friends and, that gobbledygook. All right, I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Have a great day.